Hey guys, and welcome to 3D animation. I'm Jen. I've been teaching at Tribeca and Columbia for like 5 years now, but I am mainly online, so you might not be as familiar with me. But I have a strong passion for animation, and I really like the different assignments in this course. So I'm looking forward to a good term. Always feel free to reach out with anything, anytime. My email is in the syllabus right here. Um, you know, this class is technical. It is going over principles, so don't hesitate. No matter when, just email me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So looking in the course, your homepage is going to be whatever week we're in, and this gets updated week by week, so you can always just go to home to see what's going on. I am going to do our weekly conferences, the live lectures that you can actually attend. I'm going to do them Mondays at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. If there's a time that works better for you, or if there's a different day, feel free to email me. These are recorded, so you can always watch them after the fact, rewatch them, watch parts that you have questions on, whatever it is. So don't feel like if you have to miss one or whatever, it's the end of anything. You can always catch up, watch it. If there's something you want me to discuss in a lecture and you can't make it, just ask me beforehand and I will go over it during the lecture. And this is with the big blue button for those of you that are familiar with this. So this week, readings and articles. Alan Becker's 12 Principles of Animation really shows the principles in a nice, easy to understand way. So please take a look at all of these, but take special note to that first one. Every week, you're going to have 2 discussion boards. This video is taking place of our conference that I will normally do, but I'll go over all of this every week, so there will be no question on what I'm looking for. But week 1, introduce yourself to the class. So what's your experience with 3D? Are you new to animation? So I'm Jen Fuller. I've been working in 3D since, like 2004. Animation was the first thing in 3D that I really clicked with and loved. I like to bring life to things, and not necessarily in the way that they're portrayed to be. So, I like to take a big robot mech model and make it dainty and, walk lightly on its toes and maybe do some ballet. I think that's one of the great things about animation, is that we really get to determine how a character is and how they should be. I'm wondering, this term about squash and stretch, and how do we do that the most? Okay, with all discussion boards, you'll make your initial post before noon on Wednesday, and your replies should be by midnight on Wednesday. That being said, please post your initial post as early in the week as possible so that people can actually discuss and we can grow the discussion. It's important to get to know your classmates. Sometimes in an online environment, this is kind of difficult. So get to know them here so that way when you have questions or you want to critique, you feel a little bit more comfortable. And then for our second board, you have to post by noon on Sunday, but again, please post earlier in the week and then replies by midnight. For every discussion board, you have to respond to at least 2 of your classmates' posts. So this is talking about reference for the ball bounce. So you're going to need to make a reference. You can use your phone, you can use a camera, whatever is easiest for you, but of a ball going off a table and bouncing. This is going to give us the reference that we need to do our ball bounce. A lot of times in animation, we always act it out. We always YouTube what's happening, get reference so that you can make it as natural as possible. Please take some time and set up your own ball drop scene. Find a ball with a good bounce. Film the ball rolling off the table and bouncing off the floor. If you can, film it in slow motion. I know like iPhones do this. I think Androids do as well at this point. But then explain what you see happening. It's rolling, off of the table, and then gravity really pulls it fast, hits the floor, squashes, stretches, comes back into the air, kind of holds at the top for a brief moment and comes back down. Okay? Then we're going to take a look at your first project. Now this is due in week 2. So you can see week 2. but it is a ball bounce. One of the most fundamental animations is a ball bounce. For your first assignment in this class, you'll be animating a ball rolling off a table and bouncing on the floor. You should have gathered the reference for your own. Think about the movements, okay? You're going to submit your file end of Sunday, but again, this is next week. I just want you to be aware this is what we're doing. So what I would like for you to do is make sure you have Maya downloaded. I like to Google Autodesk Student Download Maya. Okay, software for education. Sorry about that. So you're going to need to sign in. Now with this, you're going to want to use your school email so that you can prove that you are a student, and then you'll be getting Maya. Oops, not Arnold. It's our rendering for Maya. But you're going to be downloading Maya. Okay, you will need to prove that you're a student to get it if you don't already have it. This student license lasts for a year and then you can renew it. Do not get the trial version. Do not get Maya Lite. Make sure you're dealing with Maya. Okay? If you have any questions on that, let me know. I am using Maya 2022. Generally, you want to work in the version of the software of the year you're in, and I tend to wait a little bit because things can be buggy when they're first released. But Maya skipped 2021 and they went to 2022, and it's actually, I haven't found any glitches. I think as time is progressing, we're finding less and less of these issues and bugs that we used to see back in the day. So next week, I will go over completely how we focus on the principles, how we do arcs and stuff like that, but I want you to get comfortable if you're not kind of animating in Maya. Now, I'm assuming that all of you have done modeling, and this is not your first experience with Maya. If that isn't the case, please reach out and let me know as soon as possible. Mainly though, this file is attached in the announcement, and I just want to go over how you're going to use it. So if you click the arrows, you'll notice that we can only translate. So you're going to want to have your channel box open whenever you're dealing with a rig, because then you can see what's happening. So you'll hit W for your move tool, and that's how we move this ball. All right, if I click the circle here, you can see my move tool is grayed out. That's because this is specifically for rotations. And you can see rotate X, rotate Y. You can type in your numbers here, move it here, or click on the word and middle mouse click and drag in your viewport. Okay? If I grab this gray kind of area here, you'll notice it's squash and stretch. So move, rotate, and scale are all, well, move, rotate, our visible scales grayed out. You're not really going to use this for that. All this is used for is squash and stretch. So I'm going to click on the word squash and stretch, middle mouse. If I click to the left, it squashes. If I drag to the right, it stretches. You'll notice it's a 1-to-1 ratio. That's as far as it goes. So you can always type in 0.5. You can type in, 0.3, whatever it is that you want, but that's how you're going to get your squash and stretch. You're going to set your keys on these 3 rigging elements. Okay, so let me zero this out. And again, I'm going to go over all of this next week, but I would really recommend that you get used to using this rig so that you can really make some nice animations. So I'll click on the arrows here, click and drag if sometimes it's hard to grab. You're going to hit S on your keyboard to set a key. Now you'll notice this red line is here, okay? That means I have a key. Now for animation, you need 2 keys to create a movement, right? Saying at this point in time, the ball's gonna be here. If I don't set any other keys, there's nowhere for it to go. Let's go to frame 25, and I'll just move it over here, and I'll hit S, and now we can scrub through. And again, I will go over this more next week, but just as a brief introduction. Now we can in between, go somewhere in the middle, and I'll bring it in the air and hit S. So now I've keyed my base movements, and I'll zoom this in so we can see it even further. So now I can determine if I want any rotation. So if I click on this, oh no, all of my keys are gone. That's because we set key on the movement part of the rig. We didn't set any on the rotation. So if I know I'm going all the way here, maybe I just want to do a little rotation. Now you can see I've added that as well. And last but not least, the squash and stretch. So maybe I want it to start out, and then we'll add some here. Now, here's the interesting thing. I've got my squash and stretch, but it's not on an angle. It doesn't look realistic. Well, that's where my rotation actually comes more into play, because I can grab that, and if I say by 10, I want it to turn a little bit. Let me grab this again, sorry. We can actually use the squash and stretch and rotate. So now we're facing the right way, and I'll hit S. So you can see rotates as well as my original rotation. And then, you know, at the end, I want this to be back lined up. So I'll just do 0, 0, 0, and 0. And then I can set a key. Now I can go back to the middle here, and I want to rotate in the direction that the ball is moving. And now at the very top here, I'm going to actually bring this back to 0. Set. So you can kind of see what we're going for here. Okay, now again, I'm going to go over this more in detail next week, but get used to practicing in Maya. Make sure you have Maya downloaded. Make sure you can open the bouncing ball rig and try to get started, and then you can bring any questions that you may have to class next week and we can discuss them. All right, so if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Feel free to reach out. Take a look in at the home page, Animation 1. You do need to read the syllabus and look at our best practices as well, and you can look through any kind of Canvas support or anything like that. All right, so I hope you guys have a great first week, and I will see you next Monday at 1 Central Standard Time.